Okay, let's get started. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to General Finance for February 3rd, 2025.
Hey, everybody, it's Audrey.
So we're going to go down to, can you turn? There we go. Number 2 to attendance roll. Online, we have Counselor Audrey Paulus. Online, we have Counselor Dean Hill. Online, we have Counselor Elena Van Avery.
I'm here.
And here we have Counselor Dale Bomberry, Counselor Carrie Bomberry. On this side, we have Counselor Cynthia Jameson, Counselor Melba Thomas, Counselor Hazel Johnson, and Counselor Greg Frazier. I know Helen is off on business, housing business, and um, and I think Counselor Leslie Green's also with Counselor Helen Miller. Go to number 4. Any changes or additions to the agenda? We're going to take number 10 out. With that, is there a mover? Moved by Melba, second by Audrey. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to number 5. There's no delegations. So let's go to number 6. Adoption of the general finance minutes for January 20th, 2025. Is there a mover? Moved by Hazel, second by Greg. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to number 7. Recommendation from the Educational, Language, and Culture Committee. Go ahead, Audrey. Did you want to speak to this?
Just let me get to it. It is with consensus that the Education, Language, and Culture Committee recommends that the Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council approve to retain one or both of the leased office spaces at Oneida Business Park, formerly used by Lifelong Learning Task Force for Six Nations of the Grand River Elected Council to utilize as office space and or meeting space. So we discussed this at length at our last meeting, and Education and Language Committee still have use for one of those meeting spaces, but council were told that we would be getting office space for all council to use. So if they're there and they're available, I think that we should hold on to them, or we think we should hold on. That's our recommendation, so that any councillor may have office space to work. If you're going to have a focus group, you'd be able to take them there and meet. And I think it just makes a really good sense to continue on with what already is there and to make the best use of it, because I know that we could use it for focus groups for education. And that's where all of our supplies are. That's where all of our material is. That's where all of our office equipment is. So it just makes sense to hold on to it. So that's our recommendation for council. Everybody may be happy working where they are, but if you do want to work in an office from time to time and have that ability to meet with your constituents, that would be probably a good place to do it. So, yeah, and I move that recommendation.
So moved by Audrey. Is there seconder before questions? Second by Melba. Any questions or comments? Go ahead, Dale.
Yeah, my question just in relation to financial, I guess who's covering that cost? Is it the education committee covering the lease payments? That was all. Just to clarify.
That's a good question for our finance person. Is she there?
Yes, she's here. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Hi there. Well, with the dissolution of the Lifelong Learning Task Force, the funding for that would not be able to be applied towards it. There is a small amount of funding that's come in to hire a person on the education team. I would have to look to see if the budget would be able to carry that.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Hazel.
The person that you said is coming in, is that, will they be situated down there or will they be in this building?
No, we've, the person that's coming in, we already have designated office space for them,
Okay.
where they can work and collaborate with other people on the team.
Yeah, I'm just, thinking about that space down there because we have so many people having to work from home because there's not enough office space already. I don't know. Just a thought.
Go ahead, Jennifer, follow up.
Thank you, Counselor. That was something that we had considered as well when we realized that the office space was available. So I already actually had a couple of directors go and look at the space to see if they would work for some of their employees that do work remotely, or they're in more of what we call a hoteling situation where they share desks and things. And there's great interest from the administrative departments to be able to use those spaces.
And if Sheridan, it's Audrey.
Go ahead, Audrey, then I have Dean.
Okay, and even one space would be suitable, and then the other one can go to in the admin or whoever needs to have a space. But you know, the chances of councilors ever getting a space again after this are probably slim and none. So, and also we'd have to look for probably somebody somewhere else for the funding to pay for it, for the one place, because the funding we get in is very small, and it will probably do well to cover the salary of the one person being hired. So that's another thing they need to consider. Whatever council wants to do, I'm flexible.
Go ahead, Dean.
Thank you, Chief. Personally, I think that maybe we should, with more thought and consideration on this, we should focus on getting our directors and our admin staff the spots and positions they need, considering that they're going to be full time working in the office 5 days a week from 9 to 5 or whatever it may be. So I think that might be the priority council looks forward to. Thanks.
Melba.
Yeah, I would guess that there's a space right now if we're hiring people. But I think it's a good idea, Audrey mentioning that if there's an opening, if I understand right, for office space, counselors have been talking of this for years and needed it. It'll cut out the meeting in restaurants and a parking lot, in your car, in the hallway. That's not very confidential. So I think it's a very good idea that office space be attempted to have counselors in those areas of need, like Audrey said, various things um, for counselors to meet. I know we could even set aside hours or whatever. I know 9:30 to 10:30, things like that. It's been wanted and needed for quite a few years, so I appreciate that, and I think the new council that's coming in 3 years would appreciate that, where things are set up with an office where it's very official and confidential. Thank you.
Okay, so it's moved by Audrey, second by Melba. So let me just make sure this is clear, Audrey, that it's okay for just the one now and the other one can be given back to admin? Yes.
Yeah, give it to admin. They never had it before, but offer it up. Yes.
Okay. So that's the resolution. Go ahead, Carrie.
So shouldn't we find out where the money is coming from before we hold these spaces for education? Or does Jennifer know?
Go ahead, Jennifer.
As Councillor Audrey had mentioned, the budget for what's coming in for education is very slim, and only has capacity to cover the employee that we're going to be bringing on board, plus the things that they'll need to be able to do their job. Recovering the space for them inside of some another area that the rent's already taken care of. When I had the other administrative directors looking, they had space for these offices within their budget to be able to accommodate them. If it's going to be designated to council, I'd have to take a look at it, potentially covering it under the administrative budget.
Go ahead, Hazel.
Yeah, I just, because I've heard a lot of stuff about, office space and the need for it. And we've even talked about having a new building to replace this one. And we all know there's not enough office space to accommodate everyone. And I think if you speak to some of the directors, I think it would make everybody's life easier if everybody could get back into an office. And I know since COVID, there's still a lot of employees at home, yet the directors would prefer that they're still in the office. It's just like it in here. It's better to be in attendance as opposed to um, not being there. So that's my theory on it. I think let the admin people that need offices have it instead. Thank you.
Melba, then Dean.
Yeah, I agree with Hazel. People should get back to work. We know that there may be time periods there where they're not working. And it's been almost 5 years, I would think, for most people to be working at home. So hopefully we can accommodate them here and look for space, because it has been said they're not coming back because there's no space. But what I understand Jennifer saying is the people, newly hired people that's coming on board, there's already space. Like, am I right, Jennifer?
Recently, we've picked up more space. That we've been able to start putting some of those new hires in. But historically, we've been having a challenge because our workforce exceeds the amount of space that we have. And that's still true today.
Sherilyn and Audrey.
Dean.
Oh, after.
Thank you, Chief. So if we're talking about space and we don't have any, then maybe we should consider expanding the current building that we're in. Maybe our resources would be better used being put towards that. Thank you.
Audrey.
Yeah, I'll withdraw my motion. Everybody seems to be wanting to have the admin use the space, but just a couple of clarification there, Jennifer. The first phase of lifelong learning was dissolved on November the 8th. Now we're into phase two, and that is hiring a new person as an education manager, etc., to go and take all those reports now, pull them all together, and do some really strategic planning with that. So that's phase two. There'll be another phase after that. And my concern is that all of the materials, furniture, computers, etc., that and all of our filing and all the rest of the stuff of lifelong learning needs to be protected when we do get space, when we do open up, and when we do hire more people. So that's my concern, and I would like to ask Jennifer to work with me, to work with us to try and make sure that that's maintained and in a safe place. Thank you.
So you're withdrawing your resolution?
Yeah, it seems to me, Sherilyn, that seems to be the indication of the council, and I will respect council's wishes on that, and we'll just have to continue meeting where we're meeting.
Okay. So she's
Yeah.
withdrawing it, Melba. She's withdrawing this. Is that okay? That's fine. So those spaces will go to the admin. Okay, let's go to number 8. Housing Habitat for Humanity. It was deferred from general finance on January 20th. Is he here?
No, she's here.
Oh, okay. Good morning, Dale.
Good morning.
Um, we're on number 8, so the floor is yours regarding Habitat for Humanity. Go ahead.
Okay. We got the application on September 25th. I emailed everything back. It was what Indigenous Services Canada said that we may be able to qualify for 10 homes of critical repairs. 10 homes are up to 440,000. So what we did was I got together a list of 10 of the homes that needed critical repair, as well as even some expanding. We've noticed that there's a lot of 4 bedrooms now for the growing families, and up
So,
until last year, 4 bedrooms weren't even on our list.
okay, so this is just Habitat for Humanity for the renovation of 6 residential units, totaling
Yes,
416,933.
yes.
Okay, is there anything? Is there a mover? Moved by Hazel, second by Dale. Is there any other questions? Because it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. So just Dale, just Dale, Counselor Dale Bomberry, just for you guys to get moving on everything. So
I've been wanting to. Good, I can let them know in a meeting after.
yes. Okay. So all in favor? Anybody opposed? Seen and carried. Oh, Elena, sorry. Go ahead.
I just have a question. I thought Dale just mentioned 10 and in the resolution it says 6. Sorry, I didn't hear the difference.
So because everything has went up, supplies and whatnot, we had to choose 6 out of the 10 to come as close to 440,000 as possible.
Okay, thanks Dale. And how many of those are going to be increased to a 4-bedroom?
Out of the list that Andy turned in, only one of them. So
Okay.
I did have 2 on the list, but it didn't make the cut
Thank you.
this round.
Yes, exactly. This round.
Yes.
I have movers to waive second reading. Moved by Dale, seconder. Second by Audrey. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Seen none, carried. Okay, thank you, Dale.
Thanks so much. Have a good day.
You too. So is comprehensive funding agreement. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Thank you, Chief. So we've received the IS Comprehensive Funding Agreement Amendment number 153. So the recommendation states, whereas Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council has entered into a 5-year comprehensive funding agreement with Indigenous Services Canada, and whereas Contribution Funding Agreement Amendment number 153 has been received for Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council approval and signatures, therefore be it resolved that Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council approve and sign the following Comprehensive Funding Agreement Amendment number 153 for fiscal year 2024-2025 between His Majesty the King and Right of Canada as represented by the Minister of Indigenous Services and the Six Nations of the Grand River. The amendment includes additional funding for Jordan's Principal Service Coordination in the amount of $10,818,400.
Okay, is there a mover? Moved by Greg, second by Melba. Is there any questions or comments? I don't see any. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Seen none, carried. Waive second reading. Moved by Greg, second by Melba. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Seen none, carried. Okay, number 10 we took out. So number 11, that was quick. I just need a motion to adjourn to the in camera. Is there a mover? Moved by Hazel, seconder. Second by Cynthia. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Seen none, carried. Thank you for joining us this morning, and have a great day, everyone.